This Sunday evening now, you're listening to RTE Radio 1. The time is 5:30, and here's Monica Moody.
3 days. 3 days, Orla. Is that all they can give me? After I've broken my back for them. After my Stop the Killing campaign has become the most celebrity-packed peace movement of all time. 3 poxy days. How many lives is that, Orla Gearan? Remind me to ask Garrett when he comes in. Still, it's more than he ever managed to get, isn't it, Orla? I told him, if you want something done properly, get a rake of celebrity women to do it. And Orla, forget the Jacobs Award. Get Alfred Nobel on the phone. I'm ready, John. Pass over that galaxy one there, Father Tom.
This one here is
No, not the open one. And welcome. Roll away the stone, listeners. It's Monica Moody rising just for you this Easter Sunday. And what a marvellous day it is. Lent is over. The sacrifices are done with. And the country is overdosing on chocolate and goodwill, despite the tragedy that is Northern Ireland. And speaking of which, I'm joined today by Radio Ulster's own Jackie Kelly, who survived a horrific kidnapping ordeal at the hands of failed Oscar nominee Daniel Day-Lewis last week. Hello, Jackie.
Hello, Monica. It's great to finally make it to your show.
Do you think it's really him this time, Monica?
I don't know, Garrett, but he's emptied the Easter egg shells at Anderson and Macaulay's for us, so say nothing.
All right.
And I'm also joined by Dr. Garrett Fitzgerald.
Hello.
Father Tom Doughty.
Happy Easter, Monica.
Donna.
Happy Easter, everybody.
1916 rising veteran Angus McAnguisha Oak.
The half-5.
Bogus social worker victim extraordinaire Carmel Cassidy. More later. And we've Orla Gearan and her goat. And as always, our musical director is Carmen Sita Hederman.
Oh, the creamy stuff.
Now, I've had a bulging post bag in response to Donna's intensely moving song last week. So later on in the show, we'll be hearing the B-side of our Stop the Killing charity record, which features Donna and country music legend Garth Brooks, who will be joining us in studio. Jackie?
Absolutely. I heard the lovely Dana rehearsing earlier in her dressing room. I was hiding in the wardrobe hoping for a sneak preview, and smashing it really is.
Oh, you're a terrible man, Jackie Kelly. Go away with you.
Yes, go away. And later in the show, I'll be reading some poems that I've written for the Stop the Killing campaign, based on the figures and statistics of injuries and casualties sustained in Northern Ireland.
Will not, Dr. Garth Fitzgerald.
Oh.
Now, I've told you before, if the Irish Times don't want them, I certainly won't have them. Now, South Africa, horror. Father Tom?
Yes, indeed. I was in Africa for many years on the missions, and it's a lovely, hot, moist place, full of big, bouncy, colourful people running around, buck naked, with a great zest for life. I remember one man, Caden, he was sort of the chief of the tribe, and we were smoking our peace pipe one day in our pelts, and he said to me, Father Tom Doughty, Father Tom Doughty, Lenten observer extraordinaire, he said, Africa is a magical place. It's full of magic. I've never forgotten that.
Well, yes, an insight there into the troubled, dark continent. Garrett, pass over that bean away. Come on.
Monica, I was saving that one for after the show. There's a picture to colour on the back.
Give it to me, Garrett Fitzgerald. My hormones are going ballistic today. I'm craving chocolate, Donna. And I can see that you are as well, lovey. You've got it all down the front of your frock.
The rain will wash that out, Monica. It always does.
It'll be lucky raindrops that get to fall on you, Donna.
Sick war-making, isn't it, Garrett? What war can do to a man. And your Easter bonnet is knocking against the frame of the Caravaggio there, Father Tom Doughty.
Sorry, Paul, it'll be the ribbons.
Jackie, back to the north. Now, when we think of Northern Ireland, we think of tanks, missiles, war zones, horrific fatalities, Gloria Honeyford. But it's not all awful, is it?
That's right, Monica. We in Northern Ireland have a lot to offer to our visitors, especially this summer when Fermanagh will host its first ever International Arms Fair.
Magic.
That's right. And Antrim will have a 4-day shrapnel festival in August. So the summer is really shaping up. And from the arts perspective, because I know a lot of your listeners have a great interest in the arts, Monica.
Yeah, well, certainly some of them would be artistic, all right, Jackie.
Flamboyant.
You said it, ex-world leader. Lots of hairdressers, if you know what I mean, Jackie. Go on, lovey.
Well, we have a season of Oliver Stone Vietnam films on in Belfast, and we're even hoping to have Vera Lynn in the Opera House in July.
I saw her on Play the Game, Jackie, beating Twink to a pulp. Isn't she marvellous?
Bless her.
Well, Jackie, you've certainly changed my mind about Northern Ireland, and I'm sure that even as I speak, countless thousands of listeners are tearing up their World Cup tickets and planning to head to the war zone instead. We'll move on. And Orla, keep that goat away from the Quality Street.
You know, it's lovely. It has a strawberry pinky scent. Here, take a bite.
I want Dr. Fitzgerald, if it's all right. I saw you spitting it out earlier.
Well, yes, but I didn't bite into it.
Welcome back, listeners. Now, Easter week 1916, wasn't it awful? Gunfire in O'Connell Street, a bloodbath at Boland's Mill, and Jimmy O'Dea and Maureen Potter entertaining the troops at the Theatre Royal. Ghastly.
Horrific.
And Angus McAnguisha, you were there. Isn't that right?
25 to 6.
No, lovey. The Rising, Easter week. Tell us about it. Oh, Donna, let him in nearer the microphone.
Mind me bonnet and all the ribbons on it.
Sorry, Father. Of course, I was only a nipper then myself.
Yeah.
I was a hot-headed teenager drunk on poetry and love and guns.
Aren't you terrific, Angus? And what age were you in 1916?
I was 19, so you could go to the Royal, see a matinee, get a bag of penny sweets and still have change out of a halfpenny.
Right, you were 19, which makes you now what?
97, Monica.
Thank you,
That's
Dr.
right,
Garrett
sir.
Fitzgerald.
I know you from somewhere.
Quite possibly. I'm Dr. Garry Fitzgerald, a former world leader. I also have appeared on Questions and Answers many times, and I write a regular column in the Irish Times on Saturday.
Did you ever used to go to Dolly Fawcett's?
Oh, Dolly Fawcett's infamous Dublin brothel of yore.
that's
Comment, Dr. Garrett Fitzgerald, former world leader and possible ponce extraordinaire.
No, I certainly did not. You're possibly confusing me with somebody else.
No, there was a mad-looking fella down the docks used to go into Dolly's. Looked like you, except I think he was black.
Oh, Orla Guerin suddenly springs to life. You can leave her the name and address after the show, Angus. But go on, lovey. The Rising. How awful was it?
Oh, it was terrible. I was only a young fella, Monica, but I'll never forget that week if I live for another 100 years.
It'll be a miracle if you make it to 6 o'clock, Angus, let alone another 100 years. But go on, lovey. The morning of the Rising. What happened?
Well, myself and a few of the other lads had got the call up the night before, so we showed up in the GPO, but we didn't really know what was going on, you know?
That's right. History records that there was a great deal of confusion amongst the volunteers.
Yeah, we were all standing round trying to look inconspicuous with buying stamps, doing the lasso, whatever. And then the leaders ran in, stormed the place they did, and they locked the doors and barricaded us in.
And then what happened?
Well, then they forced us to have sex with them.
What?
The leaders of the Rising forced you to have sex with them.
That's right, on the floor. Except Pierce, he wanted to do it on the franking machine. In German, they were all mad for the German.
Monica, this sounds quite bizarre. There's no historical evidence for this alleged incident, and none of the leaders of the rising, as far as we know, actually spoke German.
Sure, they were German, Dr. Fitz. I know you now, sir. You're that mad lad off at the telly.
That's right, I am.
Grafted in the streets, I wonder.
You say that these men were German, Angus. Is that right?
No, you see, they weren't men at all. They were ladies, German ladies, specially trained spies who'd been sent over to have sex with Irish poets and scholars.
Fascinating. Go on, Angus McAnguish, 1916 veteran and sex toy of James Connolly extraordinaire.
You see, the idea was that we'd spawn a master race. The Germans had the physical strength, and us with the poems, the dreams, and the crazy notions. Would you ask the girl if there's a fizz bag in that egg? You could get a fizz bag for 2 farthings and still have enough for one off the wrist and Dolly Fawcett.
Tremendous. So, Angus, to sum up, you're saying that the leaders of the 1916 Rising were really a crack team of German female spies who forced you to have sex with them in order to create a German master race.
That's right. They just disguised themselves as men. Except Joseph Mary Plunkett. He didn't bother.
Joseph Mary Plunkett, a clue there, Garrett
Monica, this is nonsense. The leaders of the Rising were fine, brave, upstanding men. Witness from Sir Roger Casement.
Really? And how many of them went on to have wives and families, Garrett Fitzgerald? Answer me that. Angus, you've been through a horrific ordeal. You're very old, and the Irish people owe you their lives.
Lovely.
The bus stop is down the end of the road, lovey. Tana, pass us over the Milky Bar one there.
It's terrible.
The white chocolate.
I'll see you, Angus. Good luck.
Welcome back,
sweet
listeners. We've been joined by the man of the moment, country star Garth Brooks.
In a brilliant hat.
Yes, he's been packing them in down at the Point Depot all week. Garth, welcome.
Thank you kindly, ma'am. Sure is an honor to be here.
Isn't it gorgeous, Donna? For once, I don't blame Gina and Crowley.
Why? What did she do?
She rode him on the Gerry Ryan show. Anyway, Garth, how are you enjoying your stay?
Well, it's been goddamn terrific, ma'am. I walk down the street and I say to myself, Garth, that's what I call myself. I say, Garth, this city's a swell place. You got some neat old buildings, great bars, and all those lovely, friendly white folk. It's my kind of town.
It's terrific that you're enjoying yourself, Garth. And how have the shows been going?
Well, they've been just peachy, sir. I can't get over these audiences. They know every word of every song, and they sing along. Their blue eyes shining, their white skin just glowing. It's like heaven to me.
And what about the Irish women, Garth? Could we tempt you at all?
Well, I'm a happily married man, ma'am. I got a little wife back in the States somewhere, and she's raising my little daughter for me, so I'm afraid I'm not on the market, but if I was, sure, I'd go for an Irish colleen, and they haven't been infected, you see.
Infected?
I don't have to spell it out for you, ma'am. It's your climate, not enough sunshine. And you've no fags here either.
Well, actually, we're top heavy with them, Garth, funnily enough. But we're delighted to have you on our show. And we're especially delighted that you've agreed to lend a hand with my Stop the Killing campaign.
Hey, it's a pleasure, ma'am. When I heard about your little peace movement, I just had to get me a slice.
Yes.
I myself am a man of peace, a man of God. In fact, God spoke to me only last week and told me to do this charity record with your Dana.
Yeah.
He called me on the phone and said, Garth, he calls me Garth, when you go to Ireland, you got to do your bit for Stop the Killing.
I told you it would work, Garrett. Well, we're thrilled to have your help, Garth. And already this record has managed to stop the war for 3 days. I've saved hundreds of lives in Northern Ireland, Garth. And I, Monica Moody, have ended violence for 3 whole days. Jackie?
That's right, Monica.
Yes.
Well, listeners, we'd such a good response to our record that we decided to ask Dana and Garth Brooks, who co-wrote the song, to perform it for us today.
Lovely.
So here they are, accompanied by Carmencita Hederman, singing the Stop the Killing B-side, Across the Great Divide.
See if we can get them to end violence for a week with this one, Jackie. It would make me a very proud broadcaster come peace activist extraordinaire, and it'll copper fasten my Nobel Peace Prize.
A young man held his sweetheart tight, looked in her eyes in the Belfast night, and as the bullets ripped through the air, he gazed down in love and sang through her hair. I'm a Protestant, you're a Catholic, and yet we are in love. We're from different sides of the great divide, yet we fit like hand and glove. I dig with the left, you kick with the right, but that doesn't give us a reason to fight. If only everybody could be like us tonight. They wandered along through the heart of the town, so much in love they were acting the clown. They never heard the warning cry, and as the bomb exploded, she heard him sigh. I'm a Protestant, you're a Catholic, and yet we are in love. We're from different sides of the great divide, yet we fit like hand and glove. I dig with the left, you kick with the right, but that doesn't give us a reason to fight. If only everybody could be like us tonight.
And sometimes now in that Belfast night, when the stars are shining and the moon is bright, two ghostly lovers walk hand in hand, singing this song for peace in our land. You can kiss my ass. I'm a Protestant,
I'm a Catholic,
and yet we are in love. We're from different sides of that great divide, yet we fit like hand and glove. I dig with the left,
I kick with the right,
but that doesn't give us a reason to fight. If only everybody could be like us tonight. If only everybody could be like us tonight.
Oh, yes! Great hat! Great hat!
Give us half of that orange cream there, girl.
No!
You got the one from the rose's egg.
All right.
Lovely, Dana. I'm very moved. Love can cross the great divide. That's the message we've learned today, isn't it, Jackie?
That's right, Monica. Oh, that's brilliant, Dana. Well done, Garth. You're super. Absolutely super.
It's a pleasure, ma'am. God bless America and God bless freedom fighters everywhere.
Thanks, everybody. And I hope that all the listeners make it a big hit.
Yes.
And that it raises lots of money for Stop the Killing.
Well, you'll need it for the dry cleaning bills anyway, lovey. You've made a terrible mess of your Euro frock. You were practically drooling chocolate all through that. Oh, and I wouldn't sit too close to Garrett, by the way. He's going to explode any minute. He's like a chocolate time bomb.
My tummy!
Oh, go and walk around the studio, former world leader. Oh, don't eat that, Dana. I saw him licking it earlier on.
Well, it was mine.
Yes, lovey, and go outside if it's going to be a projectile. And Ura, pass it over his beanos there. Oh, look, he's got them all divided into different colour groups. Now, Father Tom Doughty,
Monica.
Easter is finally with us, and the heartbreak of Lent is forgotten. What's obliged of us by way of celebration today?
Well, Monica, the tradition in rural Ireland on this day was to take an egg, the symbol, of course, of new life, and to draw onto the eggshell the face of the person dearest to you in order that that person live a long life. And that's what I've done for you today.
Oh, isn't that lovely? And this is an ordinary hen's egg, is it, Father Tom?
That's right, Monica. This egg was laid by John Charles just this morning.
Oh, I thought John Charles was a cook.
No, funnily enough, he turned out to be a she when I had a proper look at her. And presto, here's the egg.
And whose face is that on the shell?
Well, it's Dr. Fitz. I hope you don't mind, Dr. Fitz, but I've grown a bit attached to you over the past few weeks.
Here, Gareth, come here and look at this. Isn't that lovely? You've got a friend.
Oh, I'm touched, Father Tom Doughty, Lenten and now Easter observer extraordinaire. Look at my little face, Monica.
Oh, yes, it's gorgeous. All the little wrinkles drawn in. And is that Garrett's own hair, Father Tom?
That's right. I cut a clump off the top of it last week when he was having his nap after the show. I wanted to do one of the goat, to be honest with you, but I couldn't get the little horns right at all.
Yeah, you've done very well, Father
thank you,
Tom.
thank you.
And this will bring Garrett long life, is that right?
That's correct, Monica. You put the egg in a safe, warm, moist place, and as long as the egg keeps, the person it commemorates will keep just as nicely.
And the nappy?
Well, the nappy also signifies new life. We wear a nappy on this day to remind us of our birth and also of our mortality. Now, this one here is the very one my own mother, Gia, put me in as a newborn infant. The safety pin is banjaxed, unfortunately, but as you can see, I've used a little bit of sellotape.
But you must be freezing, Father Tom.
Well, the bonnet is keeping me head warm, and that's the main thing. And sure, I don't mind the cold on the rest of me. I got used to being in my nude in Africa.
Fine. Oh, Garrett, go outside. And mind the Caravaggio. Oh, look, Donna, he's breaking into a trot. Now, child snatching, isn't it awful? It's come too late for me, unfortunately. I don't think Ciara could bond with another mother at her age, Donna. But for Carmel Cassidy, the spectre of the bogus social worker still looms large. Carmel, welcome.
Thanks, Monica.
Carmel, take us back to last Tuesday afternoon, to the events that have changed your life forever.
Well, we were all at home, myself, my husband Frank and the two kids, and we just finished our lunch. There was a knock on the door.
Tinkers, aren't they awful?
Oh, no, well, it wasn't the Tinkers, Monica. In a way, I wish it had been. I just put Frank down for the afternoon. So I rushed downstairs, and there was this woman with a clipboard, and she told me that she was with the Eastern Health Board. And before I knew it, she'd barged her way into the house.
I know. try having Thelma Mansfield round for coffee, lovey.
So anyway, she started asking me where my husband Frank was. So I said, well, he was upstairs asleep. And she made to go up the stairs.
Thelma all over. Go on,
So
girl.
I followed her upstairs, and she was going on about Frank, and she knew all his medical details, the date of his birth and the hospital he was born in, all that sort of thing.
And how did Frank react to this, Carmel?
Oh, well, I mean, he woke up with all the commotion, and he was fretting, he was whinging and kicking the blankets off. So I tried to get this woman into a different room, but she explained that she had to take Frank away. She said it was all legal, and all I had to do was sign a couple of forms. And he was making a terrible racket at this stage. The kids were running in and out of the rooms. It was a nightmare.
So what did you do, harassed wife and mother extraordinaire?
Well, I nipped downstairs and got a biro from the kitchen drawer. Came back up. The woman was already dressing Frank. So I signed the forms and she took him away.
No, this is all very troubling, Carmel. Did you read these forms before you signed them?
No, you see, I didn't really have the time. Besides, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Indeed not. So, Carmel, your husband had been snatched from under your very nose. What did you do next?
Well, I watched a bit of television with the kids, and then I phoned for a pizza.
A good idea, lovey. Or get an extra large hot and spicy, will you? And you better not let Garrett see it. Go on, Carmel. What about Frank?
Well, funnily enough, he showed up a couple of days later at a house down at the other end of the estate. Now, there must have been a mistake in their books, because I know that husband reallocation usually involves resettling the husband in a different town.
Or preferably a different country, Carmel. You can't be too far away.
That's right, that's right. But anyway, this woman whom I vaguely know, I've seen around the shops, called by for his things, his bedclothes and stuff, and we were laughing about how close by Frank is. Because as far as she knows, her husband is now in Longford. A woman in Granard wrote to her inquiring about his feeding routine.
Isn't that extraordinary? And like you say, Carmel, clearly an error has been made. So will you still see Frank?
Well, hopefully not. We all feel he'll settle better if he doesn't see me or the kids. We probably have to move,
Oh, that's a shame. Where will you go?
Well, to tell you the truth, Jackie, I'm thinking of going to Longford. She showed me a photograph.
Oh, is he a good-looking chap, this fella in Granard?
Oh, well, he'd just been bathed and powdered, and he was lying on the rug with a big smile on his face, and he looked his best.
That's lovely.
Which I wouldn't mind.
Well, Carmel, I hope everything works out for you, and that the husband-snatching department of the Eastern Health Board gets its house in order. And Orla, give them a ring and ask them to call round on Tuesday after I've given him his tea.
And what did he sound like, Garth?
Well, honey, he didn't talk like I thought God would talk. He said to me, Garth. He calls me Garth. And he sounded Irishy, really, a bit like your Dr. Fitzgerald.
Feeling better now, are we, former world leader?
Yes, thank you, Monica. I didn't actually get sick, I just needed some air.
Well, you've got some air all over your jacket, Garrett.
right.
Sit down, for God's sake.
Yes, Monica.
Oh, no, Garrett!
Oh, not there, Dr. Fitz.
Oh, my God.
I've got all the egg on my trousers. Horrible, yellowy, sticky
Listeners, Dr. Garrett Fitzgerald has just become the first man in history to sit on his own face.
After all my
Welcome back. Now, the Pope. Isn't he marvellous?
Yes, he is. He's a walking saint.
And he's not getting any younger. All that jet-setting and dodging bullets has put years on him.
No need to worry about him, Monica. He's doing fine.
Yes, he is, Jackie, despite what Joe Dolan did to him.
What did Joe Dolan do?
He's written a book, Donna. A cheap, sensationalist little book attacking the Pope, trashing Archbishop Desmond Connell, just taking pot shots at the whole lot.
Monica, I don't think Joe Dolan would do something like that.
Well, I'm not a bit surprised, Jackie. Any man who can go around at his age, stripped to the waist, jewellery dangling dangling from every little bit of him, crooning his sordid songs, would do anything for publicity.
Mike, Joe Dolan hasn't written a book. It's Joe Dunn, Father Joe Dunn. That's who you're thinking of.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Garrett Fitzgerald. I've never heard of Joe Dunn, let alone seen him stripped to the waist, dangling his jewels. It's Joe Dolan I'm thinking of. I wake up every night screaming, just thinking about him. And to the best of my knowledge, Joe Dolan is not a priest.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
No.
though now that you mention it, it wouldn't surprise me.
He has the look of one, in fairness.
Oh, look, we'll leave it. My thanks this week to Carmel Cassidy,
Bye-bye.
Angus McAnguisha Oak, Donna,
God bless.
Father Tom
Happy
Doughty,
Easter.
Garrett
Look
Fitzgerald,
at the mess I'm in.
Jackie Kelly, and of course to Garth Brooks.
Bye now.
I'm Monica Moody. I've ended the war for 3 whole days. Will you let me in? Garth, give Garrett a go with your hat, lovey. He can't take his eyes off it.
Ride him, cowboy!
Don't tempt me, Garrett. I wake up every night screaming, just think.
Monica Moody was brought to you by Pauline McLynn, Jonathan White, Niamh Linehan, Peter Hanley and Rónán Johnston. Monica Moody was devised by Gerry McNamara, script was by Fiona Looney, and the producer was John Caden.